a Wiggly. I acoustic, yo. Hey, step inside, I give thanks and the highest praise. Grandma said to Mama Earth, connect out the space.
Well, hello everybody. It is me again. It is another Sunday. It's episode number 43. So thank you so much for everybody who's been following along on our journey. And we have, well, it's a difficult show today because the amazing Clown Fest has been on for the last 10 days. It's there last night as well. So basically have them on in one corner on your TV and keep us close by on your phone or your tablet. But it's been absolutely an amazing Clownfest time. I can see Piero the Acid Clown is in the chat, so thank you very much for your support here. He's done an amazing job, as has everybody that's been putting together all the shows. And that's the reason that I've been missing kind of everything, really. I missed Kent's show. I've kind of caught up with a bit of it. I missed watching the Pro Synth Network properly live on Friday, and I caught up with that as well, which was really, really cool with Gaz and stuff on it. And I've just been burying my head in Clownfest, to be honest. So thank you so much to them for putting it on. It's been an impeccable festival, basically, and really, really looking forward to the next one. Let's hope the next one or the one after can be in a proper field somewhere. We have a guest today that was the second guest on the show. I thought it was the first for a minute, but actually Piero the Acid Clown was the first, and a very sweary episode it was. And then we kind of tightened everything up and got Loullamae involved, and all the swearing stopped. Not that there's any problem with swearing, but there is when 10-year-old girls are around. I wonder if I got the EST time wrong on the coming shortly. I think Jamie pointed it out. I did look it up on one of these amazing world time zone things. Anyway, loads and loads of people already in the chat, so it's really, really touching. Thank you for your support. Gethsemane Music was in there first. Paul Artola is in there. Marshall Arnold, Tim Grogan, Robath Melted Cheese Home Studio, Native VS, hello to you. Dr. Synth, hello there. Who else is there? Grace Griffin. Brilliant to see Grace on Kent's show, which I caught after the event. So it's lovely to see you. Amazing show last week. It was just brilliant. I don't know if you caught it, but something about it. There was so much to learn from Grace and her live experience. It was a slightly different angle, I think, a different take on music. We've always been talking about making it, whereas less so supporting and mixing it from the side of the stage, which is kind of cool. So worth checking that out on replay if you haven't seen it. If you're listening to this on replay as well, thanks very, very much for that. I will try and explain everything in words rather than pictures as we go along. But yeah, lovely to see you on that. Hopefully this is the beginning of a very flourishing career on the small world of YouTube synth and music industry broadcasting. I can't get through it. Movement 81, hello to you. They did an amazing set on Clownfest, based around This Is Not a Love Song by Public Image Limited, which was just epic and just needed to be longer. I think the only problem with that was it should have been a longer set, but I really loved that. Anyway, it's been quite an uplifting week, very kind of focused and inspirational, I think. Hello to Failed Muso, thank you for joining as well. The horn is working, the horn of plenty, the Mr. Wiggly horn of donations. I will just pop this in now. This is the horn of plenty, the Mr. Wiggly Super Chat horn. If you do donate via Super Chat, it goes to Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is Loullamae's favourite or kind of preferred charity. They are amazing people there. So all the money goes to them, and the horn goes off and scares us all. It's just too loud. We had to stick tissue paper in the top. It's a proper horn, and then in the end I just stuck the incinerator over the top of it, so it's literally in the corner of the room there. Wow, as if by magic. Thank you so much from Keith in Watford, kicking off the horn big time, and there is so much chat here I'm having trouble keeping up with it. That's very, very kind of you, Keith. Thank you. Last week, just to bring you up to date, and then I will introduce you to our wonderful guest and stop talking for a bit, we raised £143 for Great Ormond Street plus 60. Thank you, BG Ollie. You are such a hero as well. Keith in Watford, BG Ollie, you are absolutely marvellous. BG Ollie's been on before as well. He's an amazing guy. He's kind of the perfect man, I think. Were I a lady, I think he would be the boy for me. He surfs, he makes music, he builds arcade machine games. He's just an amazing guy, really. So check that out. Look for BG Ollie on previous streams. Thank you so much for the €5. So yeah, we raised £143 for Great Ormond Street plus £61 for Loullamae's triathlon. There was an extra special kind of triathlon thing going on, which should be taking part on in May, and we needed to raise £50 for that, and we got 61 as well. So it's split. So basically, the bottom line is £204 odd last week off of the one show, which is just amazing, just absolutely exceptional. So thank you very much for that. We smashed £3,000 on the Just Giving page for Loullamae, so it's up to about 3,050, and now with this it's probably now up to 3,065ish. So thank you so much. It really means a lot, and they are an epically amazing charity. I'll run a thank you a bit later on. There is a thank you video which everyone's names on it who said thank you, and also everyone gets put into a raffle for the 50th show to win push turn tweak to win some books that I've put safely out of the way. So I'll go and grab those a bit later on and show you. They are amazing though. And another one, thank you very much. Let me have a look. Got to scroll to the bottom. Getsemani Music. Thank you so much there. I don't think it's loud. Do you know what? I think the battery's down a little bit. Every time it goes off, I say I must charge the battery. It's a car battery. The whole thing runs off, because I bought a 12 volt power supply and it wasn't enough to kind of give it the kick. Thank you, Getsemani Music, and that also was another show. And thank you, Robert Fatdust Hecht, or Fatdust to his friends. I was going to mention the Sonicware sample track, not that we usually talk about much in the way of kind of musical stuff, certainly hardware, but I was going to mention that, so we'll talk about that in a second. I even got a picture of it on the thing. It's raised £250,000 already, which is just insane. 1,000, it's roughly $250, $260 and $299, so it's basically 1,000 people have pledged already, and it does look kind of cool, so we'll talk about that anyway. Hold off just for a second, because we have an amazing guest who was going to have a day off today. In fact, he did have a day off, so no one's been watching his normal show, which would end just as mine starts on YouTube for GeoSynths. So I don't know why, but he said, I will be free. So I thought, well, we'll get him on. Don't give him a day off, and have a good old chat about how things are going. It's been almost a year, because he was show 2. This is stream 43. We've missed a couple with illness, so we're kind of, 5/6 of a year since his last visit. Also, the show's kind of changed quite a lot as well, because I would say we've got our act together, but I'm not sure actually. Thank you, Rotten Circuits, for the $10 Canadian. Checking horn level and phase. We need Grace for that. Yeah, check it. Make sure it's coming through at the back and it's not out of phase, and carry on. Thank you so much. Here he is. It is from GeoSynths, the most amazing and wonderful Jamie Morden. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you very much. I'm just really enjoying this. From the second show you did to now, and what you're showing is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a bit crazy, mind. I watched that one with you recently with Ty, and getting attacked. Oh, yeah. Well, you get attacked by
baboons and badgers.
Baboons and badgers. It was nuts. Yes, that was nuts. But
I mean, that was it was the thing from ages ago, who we used to ask people who would win the fight between a baboon and a badger. It's to do with a website called Popbitch, which is like a.
I don't think you need to even explain it.
No,
just that visual of them is brilliant.
And they did it completely out of the blue. But Ty would be the first person to say he's not very competitive, but actually, underneath the surface, he is pretty competitive. Yes. So what's been happening over the last 40 weeks? Because I think. You'd stopped doing the stream. Now, you had done 100 and a few streams every Sunday. Yeah. It was Sunday. It was this kind of time, wasn't it?
It was 6 o'clock on a Sunday. Yeah, I had loads of guests, and I'd done over 100, and it just was. I wanted my Sundays back. I wanted my weekends back, and to be honest, I got a little bit burnt out with it, I suppose. There's a kind of crescendo. You know what it's like. You want to make what you do better and better each week, and you buy new bits of gear, and you try and get newer and, you know, different sort of guests. And it just got to a point where I was thinking, you know, it was taken over too much from what the thing that actually pays, which is sound design. So there's a number of things, really. So I stopped for about, I think it was about 3 months, something like that. And bit of Robarth melted cheese.
Bit of Robarth action. Thank you so much for the €10 for the cause of our little hero. It's very, very kind of you. She'll be along 15-20 minutes just to ask some crazy questions, keep things on track.
Are you going to do like a VST of that? You know, because you've already done the other one. Do one with the horns. That'd be awesome,
you can it's wired up to IFTT, that if this then that thing. If you come across it, you can connect your. Yeah, it's a thing to connect things. I won't go geeky on it, but basically you could make it switch your coffee on when you open the front door. But this I decided to wire up, you know, fire the horn.
You do bits of programming and all that kind of thing, don't you?
Yes, yeah. So I'm quite techie with the obviously with the plugin side of things, but I've been geeking out doing some work with Nick at Sonic State to try and merge all their chat together from Twitch and YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and that's been I really enjoyed that, actually. So I do enjoy getting my geek on. Are you of that kind of?
Nah, sadly my programming was 10 print hello, 20 go to 10 run. That's the limit of
the higher level of that was to add a space at the beginning and add an extra space every time, so it prints out diagonally, you know.
That's right. Yes.
that was lesson 2.
That was the top level of my techie geekiness.
So without being too negative, you burnt out a bit.
I'll just burnt out a little bit with it, and I've decided just to concentrate on the sound design, because, like I said, that was what was sort of paying. And it's weird. It kind of happens.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Andrew Brooks. Yeah, someone was saying you were unwell in the chat, so I popped up the get well soon. Nothing negative, just a cold. Okay, well, that's good. It's but obviously colds for men are pretty serious stuff, as they are. So get well soon, sir. Carry on.
But yeah, I mean, end of the day, it was probably a few months I packed it in, and I decided it did make a big impact, actually, on the marketing side of the sound design. So decided to come back with doing sound design streams, because that's really what it was all about. Is, when I first started doing it, it was just about making patches and showing people how I was making, like, certain sounds, and it kind of, people were then asking me, what about this latest synth, what are your thoughts on it? And that's how it ended up being really a kind of cheaper clone of Sonic State. And but I've got some, I suppose what I did slightly different was get sort of a little bit of different guests on from different ranges, people that we knew, people that we didn't know. I like that. I like having people on that are, we don't know who they are, but everyone's got something valuable to say. So but anyway, some changes personally with my family. So my mother moved in with me, so I do the caring for her. So that meant weekdays were no good anymore. So hey, I'll come back to Sundays.
Gotcha. Good timing, Synth. We got a sentence. Just before, thank you so much. Hey Dom, still enjoying Jamie's Sledge and DeepMind 12 patches. Great stuff. Everyone go buy his patches. Yes, absolutely. More of that as well. A little bit later. But if you can't stick around, GeoSynths.com is the place to be, really. And he has tons and tons and tons of patches. They could make a quiz in themselves, to be honest. But if you go there, there's a lot of Moog One stuff for those people who do happen to own a Moog One, but it's not all Moog One, obviously. Nord Wave. There's even JX3P up there, which is outstanding. I was just moving, what it is with a studio. You're always moving stuff around, aren't you? One little thing, you put it there, and the cable's never long enough, so you have to move everything else around. So the JX3P was on the wall, and then I had a bit of space on my desk, so I just put it on. And I thought, I haven't played this for a while, so I plugged it in. Next thing I knew, I'd made 32 patches for it. So but it was just a bit of fun. But yeah, there's about 3,000 now that I've released. Anyway, I've done lots more, but there's about 3,000 up there.
Wow, Kent.
Kent
That's
Spong,
amazing.
man.
Kent
Well
Spong, can you tell me what's wrong?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Kent Spong, 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 Kent Spong.
I missed out on the Hebden Bridge pub car park fire. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure someone will catch on. I posted a picture of. I posted this picture, which was about Clownfest. If you hang on just one second, hopefully it's still here. And I think Jim Glue said something about Hebden Bridge. Anyway, that's kind of beside the point. Thank you so much for that donation. And again, huge apologies for not being able to join in on Friday. I've frozen here, so I'm not sure if I'm still broadcasting at the moment. Let's just see. I might have to refresh and see what's going on. Hang on a minute.
It looks like you are. I've got you on.
Okay, no, we're
on
good.
YouTube separately.
Lovely. Yeah, I posted this picture, which is yeah, kind of me doing my bass face for Clownfest, and that's something to do with Hebden Bridge. So perhaps if we could have something in the comments just to explain the significance of Hebden Bridge. But anyway, Kent, thank you so much. This is really outrageously good. Big love in the chat, please. Hearts and flowers for Kent. That's just outstanding, and you do this every week, just ridiculously. Thank you. Just while we are here, let me run the thank you video. Just 1 second for to say thank you to everyone that's actually given while we're here. It's a good opportunity to do that, and Kent is just outstandingly good. So thank you.
That's amazing. That is.
It is, isn't it?
Inside I give thanks and the highest praise. Ground myself to my earth, connect out the space. Within the hallways of the heart, the mind in the state of being that I am as I vibrate. At a rate, oscillate like quartz crystal, mama man. Earth brother, I know run solidly saying I'ma say our heart is the brightest of sun, so we'll let it shine away, overlap and envelop each other in love and light. Yeah, simultaneously synchronized this energy, symbiotically sacred geometry, contemplate the symmetry and this imagery as we integrate the knowledge, this wisdom. See what the symbols mean about it, what the temple be. Where the life force energy resides in the chemistry. Bioelectric being the top and indefinitely receive and perceive to the physical machinery. Conceived by the source, recognize that it blessed be. Rolling and I can't breathe. Conscious living never hurt me. One love, energy and sexy. Wind your line to the champion sound. Baseman move to the energy. Sunlight bread in a one way. One love, set your heart free. Wind your line to the champion sound. Winding time to the champion sound. Winding time. Wind your line to the champion sound.
So long I've run out of video to cover the end. Oh my gosh, insane and wonderful. Thank you, Ben Breslin. This is so kind of you. Let me get rid of that for a moment. It's just brilliant. Enjoyed Jamie's channel from its origins of guitar effects on synths until his more recent work on gammon pads.
Gammon pads, yes. Guitar effects, that was, I mean, in fact, that's where I got the GeoSynths from, guitar effects on synths.
That was one of my questions. I'll tick that off.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, it was, because I don't know, I love the sound of like pedals and everything and running synths through them. So I thought, I'll just do a video. And it was the sort of early days of doing videos, so you didn't really see me. All you saw was my hands. I was that kind of stage where, I wasn't getting dodgy comments. And, but I did probably about 10, something like that. But I stopped because it ended up being quite expensive buying all these pedals to then really, just do a demo on and stuff like that. And but it was good. It was good. And Gammon Pads was just like a live stream. We were just talking, doing something. I needed a name for it, and somebody come up with that. So that's what it ended up being. Yes, that's why it ended up being.
Amazing. Again, thanks again to Kent, and really epic, and to everyone so far. Really cool. Sasquatch popped a question in a little while back in the chat, which I don't want to miss, which was, what's your first opinions of the K2700?
Yeah, it's an interest. I've never owned a Kurzweil before, and of course, like Kurzweil have always been very prominent in the, especially in the US anyway, but very prominent in musical theatre and also live gigging. And the fantastic Jim Glue. Are you seeing all this? He's cooking on Facebook. All these dishes.
Tell me about it. Me and Mrs. Wiggly.
Wow.
And they're all vegetarian and stuff. Talking of me and Mrs. Wiggly, Loullamae, I mean, just incredible, absolutely incredible. They're just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
and,
there's me with my sort of like ham and crisp sandwich, just sitting there, and then I look at all this lovely wispy, well presented stuff with shaves of whatever else. Amazing, but yeah.
Right, hang on just one. Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. We're saying all of this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jamie pulled me into this YouTube community. You were just in the middle of a Kurzweil, so hold that thought just for a second. If you just want to finish that sentence, and I will get everything going at this end.
Yeah, I mean, well, I used to have quite a lot of workstation types because for a while, believe it or not, it was the only way where you could get new sounds. I'm talking sort of 2000s, that sort of range, maybe earlier than that actually, mid-90s. So I was quite sort of familiar with them. But at the end of the day, workstations have a horrible name, attached to it. So, but they're still a synthesizer. But I'd seen all sort of Kurzweil, never owned one, and so this popped up, and I thought, Bonner's Music, the only place that had them. So I got them, and it's a lovely synthesizer. I mean, it's an unusual way of programming, that's for sure. But yeah, it sounds very, very nice. So yes, Sasquatch, you may be getting something from me.
That'd be cool. That would be super cool. Right, so let me pop everyone in the stream. Very warm welcome to Mrs. Wiggly. Getting jiggly with Mrs. Wiggly.
Hello, Mrs. Wiggly. Hello, Loullamae.
Hello.
And Loullamae needs a bit of... now, Mrs. Wiggly, I need to plug you in. Talent were too busy to turn up for the sound check. Try that, Mrs. Wiggly.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Turn it up a little bit more. Have you noticed, Mrs. Wiggly, you've got a new mic stand?
No.
Ah. Well, there you go. It doesn't really impress the ladies, do it? Mic stands. Let's get you in focus. There you go. How about that? Goodness me, we're all good. My browser seems to have come back to life again, so that's kind of cool. Don't chew. We can hear his weird chewing on the stream.
Is it chewing?
Is it chewing?
Don't think it is.
Okay.
It's not me.
How weird. There's a phantom chewer in the studio. Evening
Can I just say hello to the chat, because there's lots of hellos.
Yes.
So hi,
Of course
chat.
you can. Was that it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Wiggly, for finding my keys. This is the last time I think I have to pay you my dues.
Thank you, Mrs. Wiggly. Thank you, Mrs. Wiggly. Thank you, Mrs. Wiggly, for finding my keys.
That was a good day. That was a very good day when we found my keys. Okay, so we've got a little bit of... what have we got? Should we do a quiz? Should we do a quiz now, do you think? And then we can talk more seriously with Jamie, because basically we've been listening to the horn going off. We found a little bit out of that, Jamie, but we'll talk much more music afterwards, if that's okay. All right, so you've got your questions. Now, I don't think we had the quiz, did we, when you were on before?
Yeah,
sorry,
we did it. Yeah, we did. We did it. I think it might have been your first quiz.
one.
And it was a little unusual for me at the time, but I have seen many of your quizzes since, and I'm fully prepared.
Fantastic. Mrs. Wiggly, what were you going to say?
So I was just going to say, sorry I missed Grace last week. I know that she was looking forward to having a chat, but I was putting my feet up, so... but I'm back today.
Yes, it was a good show as well. And not that they're all, they're all amazing, obviously, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, all right. So quiz time. If you're watching not on YouTube, pop over to YouTube, search Mr. Wiggly, and pop on there, because that's where all the action usually is. Make sure you show Inky. Inky is our moderator. She's in the chat making sure everyone's nice. So please be nice to Inky. She always reminds me what the word is. It's something like view all chat rather than top chat or something. You need to see all the answers, otherwise you won't see the real answers. It's open to everyone. Jamie gets a bit of an advantage, I think, because it's a little bit delayed, so he gets a few seconds. But to be honest, they're pretty unguessable. To be honest, so I think we'll be all right. Yeah. Okay, right. Let me just get set up here, and let's see what we can do. Stand by. Talk amongst yourselves a minute. Goodness me, there's so many videos and things lined up here. It's ridiculous. Here we go.
What did I have for lunch?
Chicken salad.
That's really close, because I ordered chicken salad without remembering that we turned vegetarian 5 weeks ago. So I cancelled the chicken salad. So no, and vegetarian is a big clue.
Potato salad. You go through every single vegetable.
No, it wasn't a salad. Okay, I'll misled you. Pork nuggets and chips isn't very vegetarian. Vegetable soup, veggie hot dogs. It's quite ingenious, actually, what you had for Sunday lunch, I think. Mushroom risotto. Because it was still the kind of Sunday lunch. That's a kind of clue.
Nut roast.
No. Oh. Right, Sasquatch. Well done, sir.
But is that the right answer? That's roast vegetables.
Well, it was the roast dinner without the meat, which is kind of what's left, isn't it? Roast vegetables.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Yeah.
I'd definitely give it for that. Yeah, quite ingenious. Remove the meat from a roast dinner. And roast vegetables and gravy. Incidentally, I mean, we don't want to bang a big drum about vegetarians and stuff, but we have actually done it. I'm very, very impressed. I put the chicken on the end for you. Okay, so we were missing a chicken at the end last time, so I even edited the chicken back on the end. Okay, so our eyes down. I'm not sure, we might have had this one before, but even if we have, it doesn't matter, because Wagyu will probably get it first time. I would.
Yeah, we've done this one.
Yeah, should we try it anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the best cake in the world?
What is the best cake in the world?
It's got to be chocolate cake, hasn't it?
You'd think so. Kind of a bit of a trick question, maybe. So it didn't go down.
I don't like chocolate.
No, it's weird. He's not a big fan of chocolate. A Korg salad. No, it must be the last question. Hang on. Where are we? My goodness me. How's it going over there, Mrs. Wiggly? You saying fruit cake, carrot cake? Oh my word! I thought this one would be.
Because we've already done it.
Yeah, I'm sure you have reminded me now, and we have done. Can you think of any other cakes, Jamie?
Lemon cake.
No. You can have as many goes as you want, though. If it was Ty, he'd be going. What's a cake? Wow, there's a very common cake which is missing from everyone's answers. We've got Angel. Oh, Adamski.
Where?
Does that count?
I can't see.
Jamaican ginger cake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done, Adamski. Not sure if Faith is watching, but yeah, well done to you and Faith, and thank you again for your donations last week. They were most incredible.
Paul Artolas put roast veg cake.
Very good. Very, very good. All right. Oh, this is a good one. This is definitely a good one. Okay.
Wagyu says he said ginger cake earlier.
Oh, did he?
I didn't see that.
Oh, Mrs. Wiggly.
Well, I think mine's a bit delayed, if I'm honest. So don't even go there.
There is definitely a getting jiggly with Mrs. Wiggly jingle to be done.
Do not even go there.
I think I'll exit.
No, it's absolutely fine. Okay, I can't see it either, but obviously Wagyu's usually right. He wouldn't lie about these things. Look, there you go, 731. Wagyu.
Yeah, actually, I'd give him one.
Well, I'm sorry. We'll give
Point that
Adamski half a point anyway because he's just a top dude as well. Well done, Wagyu. Okie dokie, right. Eyes down, full house, and all the rest of it. Let's go with the next question.
What size are my feet?
What size are Loullamae's feet?
5.
Yay!
Oh,
Whoa!
couldn't even switch the camera angle. Round of applause. Hold on a second. We can do a quick zoom in there. Look at those trotters. Back in the room.
Up a bit.
A very out of focus one. Wow, that was brilliant. So, is that 1 or 2 points to Jamie?
That's 1 point I've
Just
got.
a 1 for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's still a chance though. There's still definitely a chance of getting a good score here. Okay, ready, Daniel?
What's in my pocket? What is
Tissue.
What is in the pocket?
Oh, that's what.
Don't hold it up.
I have pockets.
Yeah, don't show it because you're.
I'm putting it in my pocket.
Okay, it wasn't quite in the pockets. What's in my pocket now? All right,
Tissue.
let's take a look. It's not a tissue. It's a key, no. Matches, no. Plectrum, no. Fluff, probably, but not the right answer. A hole, again, probably not the right answer. Bubblegum, pencil sharpener, whistle.
Dog.
Lip
Hank of the
thing.
dog. Who said a dog?
Inky.
That's how it said a badger. A witty dongle, says Wagyu. Yeah, nice one, Inky. That's brilliant. Thank you.
I wish.
I wish too. Jim Glue, a Rubik's Cube. There is a massive Rubik's Cube craze going on in Loullamae's school at the moment. I think my headphones keep falling out of my ears.
Maybe your ears are
People are
big.
going to be saying, you can't touch in your ear. Maybe our ears are too big. Yeah, that's probably right.
You're losing weight because you've gone vegetarian. That's
Well,
what
this is it. I have actually.
You're shrinking.
The cartilage
I'm
is
melting. Cartilage in my ears. Side question, whilst we're still waiting, no one's got it right. Loullamae says that this bit, let me just flip on the camera here, that's a cartilage, not a bone, but I thought it was a bone.
Cartilage.
The bit here, though, if you break, if you got like slammed with a comedy saucepan. It's a cartilage or
A cartilage.
someone will say in the chat.
I think it's a bit
And
of
you,
both,
bud.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you go. Oh, both right.
You get the bridge, which is the bone bit, and then the rest of it is, as Loullamae says.
To be
So
fair,
you're both
Loullamae's
right.
usually right. Yeah. A fish. Hang on. No, it's not a fish.
I don't think anybody's going to get this.
Well, they could get the brand. Okay, it's edible.
Mr. Wiggly's keys, yeah.
Yes, thank you for finding my keys. Skittles is, that's along the right lines, Lady Aptitude. Lovely to see you here as well, by the way. Thank you for joining. Tweezers, a unicorn. Look at a skeleton, a giant strawberry, Chuppa Chups,
Fruit pastels.
lollies. Close, but no cigar.
It is.
Are you going to give it away? Should we call it? Okay, zoom in on Loullamae. Oh. Back a
Zoom
bit.
out.
It's a groovy biscuit. I don't know why I'm playing the applause. We got the wrong one. Pardon? Yeah, of course you can eat it. Absolutely. So yeah, groovy biscuit. I didn't even know groovy biscuits were a thing.
No, never heard of those.
Loads of stuff that
Can you
don't
dunk them in
really-
tea?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Not a big fan.
pretty
Look, they've got
much.
like. Do you want to not too close? Do you
whack.
just want to hold it and show? They've got like
Full of Smarties,
Smarties
and
and
caramel.
chocolate, and then caramel in the inside, and then a biscuity base.
It's the sort of thing that you used to make when you were a kid at school and you
Yes.
bring it home to your mum. Look what I cooked today.
And as Loullamae's
Complete with
demonstrated,
fingerprints.
it's one of those that you can eat the bits off. So you could eat the Smarties and then chew the chocolate off, and then Actually, you say you don't like chocolate, but you quite like groovy biscuits. Just
It's because there's not much chocolate. It's just caramel.
Did Adamski miss the question? A biscuit with sunglasses on. Fair enough. Okay. Oh, Martin Taylor said he had those 30 years ago. I honestly didn't think it was
Really?
Yeah.
We forgot something.
What did we
The
forget?
Stream we were gonna do.
Oh, yes. Well, we'll keep that for next time. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Completely forgot something. Oh, Sasquatch is saying, wasn't that called a Twix? Well, Twixes are still available. They don't have the Smarties on the top. So, as a Twix aficionado, they do salted caramel white chocolate Twixes now, which I don't know why I'm just glazing over. Twix, chocolate.
Screen or wobble.
Oh yeah, we've got that. Yeah, chocolate. Now all I can hear is chewing.
Right, do you want to put that away now?
Okay, no more chewing, but there is another question from the lovely Loullamae. Are you ready? Yeah? You ask it.
Yeah. How many sheep can I stroke at once?
How many what?
Oh, yeah, there's a bit of a curveball on this. It's how many sheep can I stroke at once? It's Loullamae's slipped this one in right at the end.
Oh, somebody's got it already.
Have they? I need to flip it back.
Let me see.
Hallelujah.
Elf, sing the body electric.
I can see Sasquatch is. No, it's Sasquatch. It's 4.
No, there's below Sasquatch.
Oh, Steve Powell's before. It's 4, not 5, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah,
So-
ice in the body. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. How dare he be wrong? Just craziness. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry for that confusion. I sing the body electric. Point to you, sir. Can you explain the logic behind how you can stroke 4 sheep at the same time?
So there's one sheep here, and I stroke that with this hand. If I drop
Right.
this, I stroke the sheep like that. And there's one here, so I stroke that sheep.
Right, so that's
And there's
2.
one there, so I stroke that with my foot.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's that one. Yeah.
I stroke it, and then there's another one there, and I stroke it with my other foot.
Okay, so one for each hand and 1 for each foot.
Did you see what I sing the body electric followed up with, though?
No. What did you
Did
say?
say 5 if you use your forehead as well. Which was awesome.
He's on the same level. I sing the body electric is clearly, right there. Wow, I'm shocked because I was like, what? How does that work? Okay, we've got a couple more, haven't we? Because those are extra ones on the end. Right, this is kind of cool. I'm not sure anyone's going to get it, but it's definitely worth a try. Okay, so there's a penultimate question coming up now.
What did I dream last night?
What did we dream last night?
Stroking 4 sheep.
Actually, Wagyu's saying none because you don't have any sheep, which I guess is right. Getsemi says clowns. Playing an instrument, says Sasquatch. Unicorn, says Sentient. The end of everything as we know it, says Jen in a very positive way. Fidges. Fridges. Puppies.
Cats. Kittens.
No. Flying dogs. This is a very peculiar dream, actually. Being married. Goodness me.
Oh,
Food.
no.
Going to space.
Mary Poppins. Welcome, 10 mil. Lovely to see you here. Fabulous Clownfest set as well. Thank you for that. Let's switch a bit of back. Okay, we may have to call this one. You became a rock star and took over the world.
Oh, right.
Wow. I'd like a dream like that. We'd all like a dream like that. Having squid, Flying in a boat. Inheriting mum and dad's fortune. Moving on. Wildebeest. Okay, should we call it? What's the right answer? What's the right answer?
Loullamae's kind of got full mouth at the moment. So.
Can we do it via telepathy?
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. Sorry, Loullamae's just swallowed about a whole groovy biscuit, just at the wrong time.
She might need a little bit of water.
We've got some water here. I think it'd be all right. Should we come back to that one? Dead air. She dreamt she was Ed Sheeran, says Kent Spong.
That's a good one.
Oh, running in a field. All right, that's close, Sasquatch. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Here's the
You can't
actual.
run in dreams, though, can you?
Well, you can in this one.
It was an escape game, and I was escaping from old people.
How about that? She was
With my friends.
escaping from old people in an escape game.
Yeah, with my friends, and then I had the same dream yesterday.
So there's definitely, I don't know what that means, because sometimes people say that your dreams mean something, but,
What does that mean?
well,
I should escape from old people?
yeah, run away. Stranger danger. No, I don't know. It's very weird. Running away from something. Maybe there's, or Gethsemane says he can relate to that. I'm guessing he has to run away from old people. I don't know, but we shall see. We are all old people, says. No, we'd never run away from you, Kent. That's probably, if the dream had gone long enough, we'd probably find ourselves at your house to escape the old people, right?
I reckon you're scared of turning 11. That's what it is.
What granny game?
Oh,
What granny
that is a good
game?
point.
What
Good point,
granny
Jamie.
game?
Oh no, Loullamae, do you play that granny game? Faith does. We need to find out more about the granny game. Do you know what it's called, Adamski? Because that does sound like something we may be on. Anyway.
I want to play the granny game.
Yeah, whatever it is, absolutely.
I want to play the granny game.
Have we got a little joke?
Yeah, no.
I would go
yeah,
with that one.
The joke?
The joke. Yeah.
Or the
Not the big question. I would do the
There's
penultimate
two
one.
jokes.
Yeah, I'll do the first one. The other one's a backup.
What's a penultimate joke?
Means the one before last.
Oh, then
The
my
ultimate
big
would be the
question.
last one. No.
What one?
Look, I'll just run the thing.
What one? Okay.
Yeah.
What's black and white and goes round and round?
Yeah. What's black and white and goes round and round?
No Google.
Cat in a washing machine.
Oh, now that's close enough for a point.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
1 point for that.
It's not a cat.
Not a cat.
That was amazing. Jamie gets a hooray for that. I'm not sure if I should say what I think instead.
Yeah.
There.
A penguin, what?
Yeah, we've got a penguin. We've got a penguin.
row.
On a roundabout. A penguin on a roundabout from Jen. Yeah, it's a penguin in a washing machine. Well, that's the answer there, but a roundabout will do. So we've got Sasquatch got it, Jen got it. Grace Griffin said a badger in a washing machine. That's pretty cool. Keithy Watford said a badger in a blender. That's very cool. Inky said a badger on a roundabout.
That's dark.
Yeah. That's way too dark. What are you doing? That noise. People will be going mad.
What?
Yeah, the official answer is a penguin in a what's it. Right, do you have a big question? This is what everyone's asking.
Well, you gave me one.
Well, we did discuss it beforehand, and I gave you one option, and you said, actually, that's a great idea. I'll use that one.
I said okay.
Read this. This is your question. All right, so this is a more
But
sensible
you always
question.
pick me one. You just always.
Yeah, I do help. You're giving away all our secrets. Okay,
But
so
Mummy
this is
picks hers.
Oh, have you got one, Mrs. Wiggly?
No, but I'm sure
You can think of one then
You
whilst
never
we're
give
answering
Mummy
this.
one.
No, that's fine. I just have a backup one for you in case because you were playing. Anyway, this is a more serious question from Loullamae to Jamie Morden. Have you got it?
Yeah. What's the best synthesizer or instrument that I could start with?
Oh. What is the best one that you could start with? Right. How big's your dad's wallet?
Empty. Down to our last groovy biscuit.
I would say
That
it'd be
was our last one.
I'd say it'd probably be a little Volca, something like that, called Volca.
that?
Oh, they're cool. Yeah. Those are quite little synths. Hang
Do
on.
you have one?
I don't have a Korg Volca,
Oh.
but that doesn't mean to say there's lots of different ones, aren't there, on the Volca range?
Yeah, you can take it with you and sit in the lounge in the living room and twiddle around with it, make weird noises.
Look, they look like this.
That looks like a makeup palette.
Yeah, I suppose it does, really. There's a little drum machine and there's a little synthesizer version of it. They're quite small. You can carry them around.
Like that.
The thing is, your dad has to buy all of them. That's the thing.
You can collect the whole set. Any thoughts in the chat would be useful on that. A CS80, says Jansetta. Yeah, thank you for that. It's an enormous, great, big, heavy synthesizer from the 60s. That's,
Do you have it?
It's worth
Is
as
it
much
big
as this
as that
house.
blue
It's-
screen?
yeah, and as heavy. They're worth an absolute fortune. I'll tell you who's got one. Do you want to know who's got one? Kent Spong.
Wow.
He's a very, very lucky man.
Wait, so it weighs as much as that blue screen?
Way more than that. It was about as much as Mummy's car.
Kent Spong.
How
Can
do you
tell me
lift it
what's
up?
wrong?
You have to get a team of roadies.
What's a roadie?
Oh, a roadie is someone that used to go on tour with bands, still does,
Like
to
a
do all the
horse?
carrying. No, real people. Not a rodeo.
What's a rodeo?
A rodeo's a horse. You go and ride
It's
horses.
a donkey.
Oh, man.
we really don't want to start having these
we're
conversations.
going off down the tangent here. Mrs. Wiggly.
There's plenty of donkeys here in Blackpool.
Yes, hours of endless fun. You know, okay, so Mrs. Wiggly, are you ready?
Sorry. I can't see Jamie.
No, he's there.
Sorry, Jamie. Are you the one that used to do this show this time?
Yes.
Did you? Yeah, you were. Did you miss it?
Well, I kind of. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I missed it. That's why I came back and started doing it again. So I do it an hour before Dobbin, so, but I'll just do an hour now. So yeah, I missed it. It's like anything, you know. Live streaming is easier than doing a sort of dedicated video that you're editing for different cameras, like a reviewing a bit of equipment, because you can make mistakes and it's gone. The only sort of challenging part about live streaming is you've got to be there physically each week to do it. So, but yeah, it's good fun. I've met a lot of good people sort of doing it. Met them in real life as well, and you know, many of the people that are in the chat, I know them from joining the show, because back then when I started it, there was nothing on a Sunday. In fact, the only one there was Sonic State on the Wednesday, and Ramsey did his on a Saturday. And there was the odd one around that would do a stream, but I started doing it on the Sunday, and it was just sound design, showing people what to do and how I make this sound, because that's the day job. And then it just went on from there, really, and got some really cool guests. And as I said, met lots of really decent people. You know, some nut jobs as well, but. But yeah, on the whole, I'd say 95% of them were absolutely perfect. A few odd nutters in the chat now as well. But,
dear.
yeah, I would say that.
It's a very eclectic bunch of people, I think.
Yeah,
It's
but
really,
now
really good team.
it's purely. I mean, I stopped for a good 3 months, but now it's just purely for fun. and then marketing my sounds when I remember. And that's just it. It's not. There was an idea of trying to make it, get bigger and better guests, and I always ended up contacting like some serious artists, and then, deflated completely when I never heard back from them. And that's kind of what happens. You want to go, but I kind of checked myself one day. I thought, hold on, mate, all you do is just make sounds. You know what I mean? So it was good to sort of come back and do it differently now. So it's just a bit of a laugh, as I say.
It's just a bit of a social now.
It is, yeah, and I mean, the sound design is really what it's all about for me. That's the sort of day job, and that's where I kind of grew my channel. Really, is from that, not necessarily the the show as such, because you can tell obviously when you do a new sort of video, if it's about the sounds that I've done or a review or something, you get massive jumps of people going to your channel, whereas it kind of trickles a lot with live streaming. You kind of gain 5, lose 4, gain 2. It's like backwards and forwards. So, but yeah, it's good doing the two of them really. It's not. I mean, at the end of the day, it's difficult to sort of have live streaming as business, because there's so many people doing it now, and it's great.
It's very competitive now, isn't it?
The pandemic has been good for that. There's been so many people doing it. I mean, we've got like Movement H1 in, and they're fantastic. I had them on a few weeks back, doing a sort of interview and checking them out and trying to understand the whole, their ethos behind them. They're very creative people visually as well, and they bring that into their music, and it just merges together. And I love that. I love finding out about people who actually do things, because I look at it and think, I can't do that. So yeah, it's good for that. Just a bit of a laugh now.
Good.
Well, it is good. So we're okay to continue then, Mrs. Were you going to let me keep on doing it for a few more weeks?
Well, I just wanted to get, somebody else's perspective and see if there's any, withdrawal symptoms.
It's really. I mean, we'll talk about that more actually in a minute, and how it affected sort of sales as well as everything like that, which I think is quite interesting. But bags of stuff to talk about. I think we've. Are you holding up notes?
Yeah.
Don't say help me or something, otherwise I'll send someone round. Are we done on the quiz front? Thank you very, very, very much. Round of applause and chat, please, for Loullamae and the wonderful Mrs. Wiggly.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
You're going to run around and give Mrs. Wiggly a big huggy goodbye type, because that's always a good little shot. Bye. See you soon. Yeah, Movement 81 were astonishingly good, and it was your show that I found. Well, I found them with. I think I very kindly you've let me kind of call in for a couple of minutes on your show just to say come and have a watch of me afterwards and kind of trail it.
Well, it was Lisa actually. It was Inky that found them. In fact, she finds all of them for me.
So she holds us together.
Finds those because she's very in depth with the whole sort of hardware jam scene, obviously. And end of the day, for me, it doesn't matter. You can have 1 subscriber or 1 million. It's just to get you on there and find out how you do it. But she found them, and I just really gelled with their sort of style. Incorporating the modular and the MPC, and it just works. The music just, it gives a lot of sort of visual kind of cues to you as well. So, very impressed with them.
Totally. I mean, to be honest, a big up Inky as well, because she's the reason this started. And it was like, there's nothing at the weekends, what we're going to do. And I think actually she's right. I think I said, well, you should do one. And she said, well, no, you should do one. It's like, okay, we'll give it a couple of weeks. We take it in turns. And there's been so many guests and so much good kind of music that she's found. DMAT as well.
Yeah, DMAT. They're great.
Just the introduction to you yourself, just amazing. But yeah, Movement 81 was a real highlight for me. And it's a very... it's very melodic, very almost song driven. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very cleverly put together, and they're very, very good at knowing how to build something. So
Yeah.
even over the course of like the 20-minute set for Clownfest, because they're all, which is quite neat, they're all 20-minute sets, but that's quite hard if you're trying to build, or if you're a DJ, or if you're trying to build a mood. They got it spot on, really, really good.
Yeah,
So
I think that because they have that whole artist background with visuals, and they've used the audio aspects in their visuals for their sort of artwork, but then they're bringing it in the other way as well, because they had some sort of screen and everything before. Just works so well. No, very impressed with them.
Let me just run a couple of patches that you've got for the Moog, just sort of randomly, that I found just before the show, because it's really nice. They're all brilliant, actually, to be honest, but there's great sound going on. Can you hear that all right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is volume 3 of the new Moog 1 sounds that are out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just flip through a little bit kind of randomly. It just sounds so nice. It's a very kind of almost analog sound. Wow. Andrew Brooks is saying, "Oh, don't make me buy a Moog 1." Just insanely good. And yes, it's a Moog 1. I mean, I'll flip through. If you've got any other recommendations, we can play through some other ones. But the thing about the patches are, they just seem so well thought out. It's like, just when you thought the sound had finished, something else will come.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's there really is a movement to the whole thing, which you sort of go, it's almost like a song with 2 choruses. You hit the thing, you get the sound, and then suddenly it's off in a slightly different direction.
Yeah,
It's insanely
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is with the Moog 1, I mean, it's an analog synth, and it's the great thing about it's got 3 layers, so you can have like a pad sound and maybe some incidental sounds going on over the top, bring in the mod wheel and program in like some strings at another octave, but as one's dying down, another one's coming in. So I treat them very much like they're like mini tracks to me. What I'm saying, because they're all, I always start from an initialized patch. It's just a sawtooth, goes from there, and then I build it up. I don't, even though with the Moog 1 you can actually store your own mod routines as presets as well as effects. So reverb, you create your own reverb, you can store your own presets of those. But I always do it all from scratch, and it's all about movement for me. That's it. It's just movement over time. Instead of using a lot of dynamics in terms of volume, I use from dark to bright and back down again. So it's just a pleasure to sort of make sounds on that. It's not an immediate synth. You do have to dig at it, but I'm one of these. I love I mean, some people, I'll see them in my comments go, "What's it sound like without the effects on?" And like, I couldn't care less.
cares?
I love
Yeah,
effects.
absolutely.
I love effects. But a filter is an effect. So, I program
Completely.
effects as part of the sound, the complete sound.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Just before he disappears off, can I just say goodnight to Thorsten and his wonderful family? Thorsten, his wife was obviously unwell. Some people will know over the Christmas, really. It was a terrible time. She's about to be given the all clear, which is literally 3 months later from being kind of, very, very poorly in hospital. He texted me earlier today, so saying that the news is all good. So congratulations to you both. I hope you have an insanely brilliant year ahead. Yeah, lovely. Thank you for joining in. It was a terrible moment over there. So just saw him saying goodbye in the chat. So thank you for that. Yeah, someone was saying that movement is kind of a signature bit of your sound. Do you know what I mean? And it's very much like, you've got your favourite artist that you like because you like their certain sound, and I do that with my patches. I make them for me, then I sell them. That's my thing. If I don't like the sound, then no one's going to hear it. I'll sit down and, like the Moog one, it'll take like 2 months to make a bank of patches for it, because there's 128 patches, but you can use up to 3 for like splits, bass down there, arpeggiator, some strings. So, it's, if anyone has sort of sat down and made your own sort of patches, you know how long it kind of takes. But yeah, it's a good sort of two months to make them. But it's just a playground for me, sonic playground, just to sit down, and I love to be surprised as well. But the thing is, I kind of know it inside out now, the odd quirks about it, and the same with every other synth, really. They all work pretty much the same way. You just got to find their colour, and then I sort of stamp the type of sound that I like to make, really. Wow.
Pads, evolving motion sounds, that is probably my kind of signature a little bit, with little kind of incidental sounds going all over. But it's some lovely stuff.
Outside of the Moog 1, what's another favourite of yours that over the years that you thought, gosh, this is actually a deeper synth than I imagined, or has a bit more to give or a surprising kind of feel to it?
Well, my favourite synth of all time that I've owned is the OB6.
Right.
And it's not because of any old vintage things. I've done vintage things. In fact, Moog hired me to make vintage patches, of 50 of them. Right. But I don't do a lot because they're not really that challenging, because, back in the day, those synths didn't really have a lot going on. There wasn't like a lot of things on it, an LFO or two, if you were lucky. So the OB6, and especially the vintage update they did, and that's mainly because I use oscillator sync for tonal changes and tone, rather than the typical thing you think of oscillator sync. But of course, once you sync an oscillator to another and you've only got 2 oscillators, it can kind of thin the sound out. But once they added the vintage knob functionality, it kind of warmed it up a little bit, and you can just get sound. You can make an analog synth sound digital. I love messing in that playground of frequency and filter modulation in the sort of analog world.
It's really refreshing, because I know yourself, electronic sounds, Dina electronic sounds with his sample packs, which is obviously a different thing. The attention to detail and the meticulous kind of care you take about putting this stuff together. I'm not suggesting everyone else produces synth patches just, tweet, well, that'll do. But there is absolutely no element of compromise on the stuff that you do, and it's like the excitement. I saw a post from you, I can't remember if it was the Moog or for something else, saying, I've just found a little quirk that I didn't know about. I'm going to use that for the next set of patches,
Definitely. I did with the Last Bank. The Last Bank is the Moog 1, and I did figure out a few new things about it, some of the routines, and it just kind of transformed the sound a little bit for me and made it a lot more interesting. But that thing, you can have that for 20 years and you're still, coming up with new stuff. It's a pleasure. But yeah, other sort of synths. I think actually, it's one that's not really popular. The Nordwave 2. It can do a lot of stuff. I think people see it as a basic synthesizer with a single LFO and all that. It's like, it's a bit cut down. But if you treat, there's actually 4 synths, 4 layers in it. If you treat each layer instead of a synth on its own, but treat it as an oscillator, you get these 4 highly functional oscillators, and you can just, a couple of sawtooths on 2 of them. And because what I did, I sampled all my synths, all the analog synths. I sampled them, every single note, but just the oscillators wide open. and then use those as the basis of some of the sounds. You know, just put a couple of detune, the usual thing, but there's a lot of other synthesis involved, and that sounded really good. I'm trying to think now.
Matt Evans.
There's so many.
I was just saying how come I've never heard of GeoSynths. Well, it doesn't matter. You've heard of them now. Honestly, this isn't meant to be an advert, but genuinely, the sounds are incredible, and the attention to detail and it's just absolutely crazy. So yeah, definitely check them out. There's loads and loads of videos like this Nord Wave. If we flip into what should we do? Should we do Fusion Volume 1? Let's pop onto YouTube a second. We should be able to get that. And just hear some of the sounds for the Nord. Yeah, Nord's a weird one. Wow.
So it's like 4-layer pad, but you've got 2 which are using it was the grandmother sample.
Oh wow.
And then you've got 2 layers with a pad that's delayed at an octave higher, and then an arpeggiator.
Amazing. Just so good. Matt Evans saying, so lucky to have found this community, never knew about it. Well, you're very welcome, Matt. Please come by anytime. And basically, Jamie is always on an hour before this show starts. So you can watch him. It's only today that he wasn't on. And we'll talk about your streams in a second, but you're talking more about the actual concepts of sound design and so forth. So it's been really interesting. Let's just check a few more while we're here. Oh, wow. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, when you say you're treating it like a song, you can exactly see what you mean.
Yeah,
that's a performance.
It is. It's a performance.
Brilliant.
I mean, you've got, like I say, up to 4 different layers that you can just... I mean, it takes time. It takes a lot more time to build that than, just like, say, on an OB6. But I don't care. I mean, for me, it's like, I've got something in mind and I've got to get there. I want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's not a case of that'll do. I just don't do that'll do. You just end up with rubbish then. But like I say, I kind of do it for me. Ben saying never tire of that Mr. Fingers style, and it is. Mr. Fingers was like back in the day of the house sort of scene, so it had that kind of thing. It's a fantastic synthesizer, but it doesn't seem to have. It came out, 2020 with the pandemic was hit, and I think maybe. Like a lot of synthesizers, people go, "Oh, it's rubbish," because the initial sort of factory patches are a bit of a mixed bag. Because companies will utilize, they'll send them to sound designers, but they'll also send them to their mates. They'll send it to an engineer will make some sounds, and it's a total mixed bag. And it always surprises me that because at the end of the day, it's the sounds that sell synths and. I don't think it kind of had a good start, but it's a very, very capable synth. For sure. Yeah.
I think in the back of my mind, Nord's always been more of a live keyboard, and I mean that's not true. I don't know why that appeared in my head from way back when they first came out.
Recent years, yeah.
And it's like,
definitely.
I'm not playing live so much. I'm certainly not out on touring or anything, so I don't need the Nord. But they are incredible things.
I mean, I did a bank for the A1 as well, the Nord Lead A1, and that was phenomenal. When I got that, it was one of the. It sort of my jaw dropped when I first heard some of the sounds. It was the purity of it. That's what Nord are good at. They're very good at the purity of sound. So, and there's enough in there to, again, 4 layers, and you can just mess around and create massive performances. But yeah, there's some great synths. I mean, the past whatever.
I'd kind of chilled out a bit. Thank you so much. I sing the body American. I sing the body electric. Thank you. Not the very first time you've ever donated. So thank you very, very much indeed. Cash for questions. Scandal alert. Mr. Wiggly question. What synth he's programmed for has Jamie found the most difficult to get to grips with, and why? Thank you so much for that donation. And it would be. That's an easy one for me to answer. Not so good for Jamie.
I don't know really. They're all pretty much. Once you see, the thing is with programming, it's not like a random affair of like I'll twiddle that knob and see what it does, and I know before touching a knob what it's going to sound like. You know what I mean? Because I've made so many. But a lot of synths, they all work the same way. I'd say probably the Moog one, because there's so much in depth. It seems like a simple synth on the face of it, but it isn't. There's the routing that goes on. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, but you just have to spend time with it. Really.
Have they moved the goalposts much with that, with new software releases and stuff, in terms of having to redo things, or kept it backwards compatible? No, I'm not. No dig at all. But obviously, with a new synth, it changes quite a lot. So have you found that to be a negative impact sometimes, or generally?
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it will. An update will happen and it'll change everything. It could be that they'll change the gain on effects, or something will break. You have to kind of go back. But generally, they're okay with that. But yeah, I think. They were all pretty much, pretty simple, really. Though that Kurzweil is kind of making my head turn a little bit, because they do things their own way. Their system's called VAST, and it is vast, but it's not your typical. There's an oscillator and there's a filter, So, but it's not that it's difficult. It just needs time to read the manuals, really, and dig in. But it's all fun and games.
Interesting. Marshall saying Nord got the rep for being live players because of how well Nord stage keyboards did with live players. That's exactly it. I think that's exactly what I just automatically assume. Their synths sound amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they just sounded absolutely brilliant. It's interesting with the backwards compatible thing. I mean, I asked it because there were a couple of versions of Incinerator which I tweaked stuff, but you have to work to make sure that even if you've only put out a few beta copies and it's early days and there's maybe 100 copies or something out there, you've got to be able to keep the same sound, and it's almost have 2 modes. And this is only for a plugin with, not many settings going on. So I can imagine, I was working with wonderful guys who make the Vector synth, who are amazing. They had to change a filter because it didn't quite open up fully. And obviously that means they've got to work backwards to make sure everything sounds the same. And, I can imagine with something like the Moog 1, that was just a nightmare because anything changes. The knock-on effect
it is. I mean, there was a lot of activity right at the beginning with the firmware updates, pandemic or whatever is going on with Moog as a company at the minute. I don't really know. They had a change of CEO and they're quite difficult to get hold of at the moment. So, but yeah, they did do something that kind of did change my first bank, but after that, it's touchwood. It's been all right. So,
cool.
But yeah, it could happen. It could happen to any synth really. So you have to kind of go back and, I mean, once I've done a patch, I don't store all what the settings were in my head. I have to go back to it and go, so what did I do there?
Can you imagine how terrible that would be? I mean, I could almost see myself trying to make it so accurate that it's much better to use your ears, really, and just try and take it in that direction.
So how has your plugin gone then overall? Because I think it sounds great.
Good, actually. Yeah, what I've been guilty of is not pushing the version 2 out. And not pushing the next. I've got 3 or 4 lined up ready to come out, and it's pretty much, I guess, over Christmas when I got COVID and I got a bit sort of geeky into a bit more programming, and I've got really kind of happily in there tweaking and changing instead of pushing something out, which has been really interesting. So it's like you're spending 2 months on that. That would probably take me a couple of months to do the plugin, but I'm taking 4 or 5 because I'm going, we could do that, we could do that. And because I'm working on my own, I'm kind of free to have that, indulgence, if you like. Whereas working with business partners and people in the past, there'd be someone saying, actually, we've got to put something out here, it sounds great, So it's not a bad situation to be in. I'm lucky enough that doesn't affect me too much in the short term anyway. So so the incinerator itself has gone really well. Sales, there was obviously you get this curve, don't you? You have quite a lot of sales at the beginning, and it's now come down to a fairly sort of consistent sort of level, which is great. I'd be really interested to know about, you were saying that when you stopped doing the streaming, it had a marked effect on people going to the site, which surprises me actually. I don't know what I would have expected, because when we were talking about it a while ago, your streams weren't so much about the patches, they were more about the people you were interviewing.
There were, yeah. And I think it was just really if it's a YouTube thing, if you I start, one of the reasons as well I did the YouTube was it gives you a video each week, rather than, because I don't enjoy doing review videos. I mean, I started doing a lot of review videos, but because people are asking me, I've done a bag of patches for whatever, a Rev 2, and they'll be going, what do you think of the Rev 2? And I'll keep getting them. So I thought, I don't know, I'll do some reviews of the synths I've made sounds for. And then, of course, you get some Behringer gear, you have or other gear. I mean, I was sent Analog Solution stuff, and, you do that, you do a review, but they take forever. They take forever, and I'm not that great at doing them. I mean, it's kind of every 5 seconds, you know what I mean? So
I need a button like that.
Yeah, and so you get really sort of vexed with yourself. You'll do like a video that's half an hour long, but footage-wise, it'll be an hour and a half.
Yes,
and you got to whittle down 4 cameras, and at the end of it, you play it back, you think, God, I look an idiot. But the live streaming, it's this. You mess up and whatever, but it's one video, and YouTube likes that. Once you stop, then it stops pushing you forward. It's like a treadmill you got to continue being on. And but I started to lose probably about 30,000 views a month, and start to drop down, and there was an impact on the sales. I wouldn't say it was all that, but I thought it could be. Not so much people watching the show, but it was because YouTube, and I still haven't been able to get back up to where I was.
That's interesting. So they literally weren't recommending you or pushing you, or wow, that is interesting.
Which is why you'll get people, who do reviews, and they do them at the same time every week, and the consistency, and that's how you go. It's a treadmill, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy that kind of YouTube-y, because it's so vacuous anyway at the end of it all. So that's why one of the reasons why I've decided to sort of bring it back, and like I said, it's just for a bit of fun now. There's no seriousness. There was before. I wanted better guests. I wanted the show to get somewhere. I was spending so much time concentrating on, because every guest I got, there was probably 10 I'd contacted, and then, one or two will say, I can't make it because of X, Y, and others you wouldn't hear anything from, and then you think, well, why would they? Just a guy who makes noises. So it was a treadmill, and I'm glad I'm off it. I'm not chasing number of people that are watching or anything like that, like I was before. I mean, I was getting good numbers at the time, but it's never enough. And I've spoke to a lot of other people who do YouTube, much bigger than what I do, and they've all sort of said they go through the same sort of process. There's also, the Joneses looking over what other people are doing, and you're thinking, well, why have they got X thousands of views? I mean, you start questioning, and it's wrong. You've got no control over what other people do. It's only what you do. And it just wasn't sort of very sort of wasn't
mentally
very happy.
Yeah, I'm going to say, good. Just from a mental point of view, it's just terrible, to be honest. I mean, just on a slightly uplifting note, there's plenty of people in the chat talking that even if you don't like doing your reviews, they're really good. So even if you don't like doing them, when you do them, I mean, it's very, very positively received. So,
but what was good? Just recently, though, I played it today. We did with Team US with Tim and Marshall. We did a track together, which is the first time we've done anything. It was Tim Grogan's idea. He said, "Oh, we should," because he's phenomenal at doing his jams and everything. Well, the guy blows me away. He's a drummer, and does session work in Nashville, in various sort of bands. But he does this whole synth stuff. It's amazing. But anyway, he put it forward, said, "Oh, let's just do something." And it was up to Marshall. Marshall knocked out some drums and bass, sent the stems over. I just did an intro and some string chord thing, and then Chris Cynthia did his bass, his guitar, and some leads and piano, and it was great. So I did put the premiere on at 6:00 today, and it was good fun to do that. And
cool.
that's
Maybe
the type of thing I would do a little bit more of, just have a little bit of fun with it.
I didn't see. Maybe I did. That was. I've seen one last week or the week before where you trailed a little bit of it on the live show. It was
that track, but I didn't have any footage from Marshall, so I managed to get some footage from him. In fact, the only thing you see in there is my hands, and that's about it. But I got some footage, so I thought, what? I mean, it's a bit of a laugh. We're not going to win awards with it, but it was just the fact that it was just it's not just sitting there talking about the latest synth, because we all know what the latest synth is, because your Facebook feed is completely full of it. So it's a bit of light against the kind of shade, really.
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't know, from my perspective, I definitely don't take it seriously, but I'm at an age and a situation in life where I don't have to, which is totally different to like if when I was trying to pursue a musical career and we'd had stuff like this going on, I'd have been all over it and it would have been work. And, whereas I was kind of going out to clubs and meeting people and doing the social networking face to face effectively back then, because we didn't have this kind of thing.
That's right.
Making sure I was in the right place and pushing myself forward and being kind of probably just really not a very nice bloke, really. Just annoying as many people as I possibly could to get work.
Well, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Definitely. I mean, I got into this late 80s, doing house music, because I was DJing, and then ended up. I've got a singer, vocalist, and we wrote together. We ended up. We got signed. We got stuffed. And we ended up after sort of doing that from, I think it was about 92 to about 97, something like that. We thought, let's just go and gig, and we just ended up going out gigging, doing covers, and actually earning some money, and did that for 10 years. So, but yeah, it's a hard game. I mean, somebody mentioned how did I get into doing patch making? It was purely because I got made redundant from a job. That was it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I used to work for Yellow Pages, doing video production, and I was there probably 7 years, I think it was, and music was just in fact, my studio, I didn't even go into it for about 6-7 months.
Wow. Wow.
It was just a little box room, and video was my whole life. That was it. It took over, and but I went up to Glasgow to see a couple of clients. I used to book, sort of a couple of days and see a few clients, different types of companies and so on. And I went to Guitar in Glasgow, and they just got the OB6 in. And they plugged it into a massive PA, and it was like hair just went. And at that time, I shaved my hair, so even the hair still did it then, and it just sounded glorious. So and at that time, that was probably the most expensive synth I'd paid for. That and the Andromeda A6, but we won't talk about that one. And so I got it, and I made a bank of patches for it. Well, in fact, I made a load of patches, and I shared it in one of the OB6 groups. And they said, "Oh, they sound great. You should do a bank." And I thought, why not? So I did a bank of patches for it, put them out, and I got, it's a niche, isn't it? So I didn't sell billions of them. But I thought, you know what? Oh, this is all right. But then I was told, right, your team, you're all out. Because Yell as a company was just going down and down and down. So I was there. I had my sort of redundancy money, and I thought, all right, I've got two things here. I can either, because it was at the cusp of the changeover to 4K stuff, UHD, I could update my cameras, decent cameras, not just DSLRs, or I could sell all the synths I've got, my Voyager, Kronos, and all that, and buy the latest synths and just go crazy with them. And that's what I did.
It's a big step. It's a massive, big step.
Oh, there was more. I had to sell my house. I had to move.
Because as you say, it's a niche market, but it's also a market that I have no clue, even now, what the potential market for plugins is, or what the potential market for sound libraries are, or whatever. So it would be very, very hard to do the sums to make you see. I mean, I could see if I put an incinerator out every month, I think it'd be pretty good. You'd make a decent living out of it. But and obviously you're building, the whole thing is that you're building a product-based living. To be fair, everything I've ever done in the past has involved fundamentally selling time or energy or talent or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And so there isn't a product. You're only as good as the last thing you do, whether it's making a computer program or whatever. Whereas with this, at least you're building up a shop window of stuff.
It's fear. Fear's great for motivating you. I think you have to be in a certain situation as well, because I wanted to make sure it was a proper business. There's lots of people doing sound, patches, and they sell them on the side, and that's up to them if they want. I knock on the door. But I've now done 4 years of it, so and it was just full on. Just full on making, and covering as many synths. But it's your own personal situation. I mean, it's difficult if you've got like a young family and all that type of thing. Then and the wife telling you get a proper job, then you're not going to really sort of do it. But it was just my circumstances. It was like, well, I've got to do it. There's nothing else. So you make it work, don't you?
Well, full marks. I mean, it's one thing to say that, but 4 years on in a successful business doing what you're doing, I'm sure that's a hell of a lot of hard work and a lot of faith. So yeah, it's amazing.
It is.
Absolutely
it's like
amazing.
Say you don't know what the market is. I mean, you can have when you hear a new synth and they do a demo, you can look past the if they do a demo and it's like got drums in it but it's an analog synth, you think, right, okay, you're doing a production here, I want to hear the synth. But once you start hearing it, even if the demos are a bit naff, you can kind of hear enough and then, right, okay, so you can do that, well, I'll be able to do this, and then you can start to plan. But some you just don't know. I mean, like the Nord Wave 2, I think it sounds great, but it hasn't sold a lot in terms of the hardware, I think,
right,
allegedly. So there's obviously an impact on the amount of people that sort of buy. So yeah, there's winners and losers. Some, because obviously, I've got to buy a synth, I've got to make the money back to cover the cost of the synth.
That's an expensive investment. I mean, I guess you can sell it on potentially afterwards, but and they're notoriously bad at selling, at sharing sales figures. So as you say, it's like, well, I wonder, but it's a global market. It doesn't rely on language, which is good.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. Majority is the US.
Right.
Yeah, for me, which is why I do everything in dollars as well. I don't do anything in UK pounds. I tried it for a while, and of course, when you've got something that's £19 and your main audience is the US, they click it, it then gets converted to a higher number.
Yeah.
They go, oh, I'm getting charged more.
Yeah.
They're not, but. but it's optics, so I do everything that way.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
good. It's good.
There's lots of other plans, but I have to check sometimes my plans. I have great ideas. I have amazing ideas, and they're just a little bit too Star Trekky.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to pick up yourself to a large degree because you have actually gone out there and done it, and that counts for such a lot. You know, there are lots of ideas around. We can all have them. There are some people around that will go, "Oh, yeah, well, I thought of that a year ago," you know, and expect something back for it for just coming up with an idea or whatever. You actually have to get out there, deliver it, and you've done it by putting your house on the line. You know what I mean? This is proper grown-up stuff, and it's working. So I mean, really, congratulations!
It just
it's an
had
amazing
to.
thing.
Yeah, it just had to. I mean, I got this office. Well, not this one. It's the same building, but just a different room. I got that, and then I went looking for a house to live in. You know what I mean? Wow. So as long as I got all the gear in one place and set up, and then it's just day and night. I mean, you know, but it's like anything. You get better and better at it. There's
yes.
You know, you sit down. You're always learning, always coming up with new things, and the more experience you do, the hours that you put into it, it just. You don't really have to think about it now. Sometimes I'm on automatic pilot level. You know, I'm making these sounds. I'm visually seeing them. I've got a bit of
synesthesia. Yeah, absolutely. I wondered
so you
about
can
that.
see the layers and the colours, and once they kind of connect with each other, I know it sounds a bit hippie, this, but once they all connect to each other, it's like, bam, the sound's there. You know what I mean? As well as what's happening in terms of the audio.
I think that's probably quite useful. It fascinates me. A friend of mine who was working in the computer side of things realised at the age of about 40 that he had synesthesia, only because he just assumed everyone else had the same effect. So, but effectively, you can visualize sounds to, you know, so a certain sound will have a certain color, particularly, or whatever.
It's in your mind's eye. It's not like you don't physically see, you know, things popping up like you're on LSD or anything. There's nothing like that, apparently.
But no, I'm sure that's it means, I guess, you can quantify stuff to a degree as well, which is fantastic.
Oh, it's a guide. It's definitely.
Wow. Did I see a kind of live rig of jamming stuff recently?
You did.
Hold that thought just for a second then, because I want to know more about that. What I would like to do is just mention this amazing thing that Jim Glue and a whole load of people are involved with, which is a new album called Sounds of Freedom for Ukraine. And I promised I would just pop it up on screen because it looks and sounds amazing. So let's just pop that up there. This is called the Volya. This word, let me just zoom in a little bit. Hold on, it's going a bit slowly. This word here is pronounced Volya. It's I think it's Bulgarian, meaning will, as in I have a will. But the whole thing is called Sounds for Freedom. Jim has a track under his stage name of James Glue, rather than Jim Glue, called Bracing for Waves, which sounds pretty amazing. So I was going to play a little chunk of that. Let's just whiz it forward. I won't play the whole thing. I'll let you go and donate some money if you wish, or play through it. Interestingly, also on this is a track from another one of our guests that has been on before, which is Citizen Fly, who's Julian Roberts, who was on episode 9 or 10, I think, with a track called Three Lights is on there. And in fact, Jim Glue popped up on that stream because I put the link up, say anyone want to come in and say hello, and they realised they knew each other. So hopefully that might be slightly responsible for connecting them back again, which is really cool. So yeah, check that. It's called Sounds for Freedom. I will post the link into the chat now, and I will also post it after this show under the video. If anyone's just listening afterwards, thank you very much indeed. Just Google Sounds for Freedom. It's on Bandcamp. and it's on a label called Modulate TV. I think apparently it's been out for 48 hours. They've already raised £500, which is fabulous.
Right.
The album is £5, and it is really good. I'm not just saying that. I just had it running on in the background, and I listened obviously to Jim's and to Citizen Flies. But yeah, really, really good quality. There's a lot of thought that's gone into it. So thank you, Jim, for that. It's very, very cool. And if you want to throw some money their way, all the proceeds are going to help Ukraine. All the details are on the Bandcamp page. So yeah, Sounds of Freedom. It's Volva. I won't even spell the name of the band because it's in the acrylic. But look for Modulate TV, or just look at the link underneath all Facebooks and YouTubes that I've just posted there. So thank you very much for pointing that out to me. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say, I don't know if you caught Ben Simpson from ProSynth Network came on a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to mention it the next week. His band Electromantics are amazing, actually, in their abilities of covering 80s new romantic stuff. Incredible. And I played 3 tracks in the background, and we jokingly said you'll get a copyright strike, and I said, well, if any of them's going to be struck, it's going to be that Japan one, because it could be that. So anyway, we got a copyright strike from a live Japan album, which is just brilliant. So it was so close that they literally identified it as the real live Japan album, which is really cool.
I know, wow. It's crazy, all that stuff. I know there was that whole February filter sweep thing when, you get a copyright notice because it was like just an intro as a
with a sweep. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's nuts. Obviously, I mean, we all hate those guys. And normally, to be fair, if you could contest them, they come back. But yeah, this track is identical to not just the original Quiet Life track, but the one off the live album. Because that's what they were doing, which is just brilliant. No,
they are very close. I've watched a lot of his videos, and when he was in the other one, with his robot fella. Yeah. And hopefully the next time they're up in Blackpool, I'll hopefully go and see
Yeah. Well, really nice guy as well. Really nice guy. Anyway, so let's talk about the live rig. We'll carry on for, if you got another 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes or so, if that works for you. I don't want to keep you going all night, but it'd be lovely to know a little bit more about the live jam stuff, because obviously you do a live jam show once a month-ish, I think, don't you?
It's last Sunday. I did it a little bit last time, myself and Lisa, and I just so admire people who do it, because it's a different way of thinking for me. I've always been like Cubase, then Logic, doing everything in a linear fashion, and and some of the stuff that people can do, Rupture Rapture, and Movement 81, and it's just so inspiring to watch. And there's that element of things are down, something, but there's an element of changing the sound over time, and being unpredictable with some of the stuff, and I love that. So, it was just to get people on, to figure out, pick the brains of how they do it. So I've set up a kind of little thing, and I bought this MPC thing. This is the 3rd one I'm on, because I buy it, forget how to use it, and sell it.
And was it anything to do with Inky by any chance?
Yeah. I tried Electron. I had one of the Digitact, but it didn't do enough for me in terms of hardware. But I do have something ready, actually. I don't know if it'll work, but
go for it. Wow.
I'll have a go.
Oh man, this is unprepared. I just think that looks great.
Yeah, it's like a little sort of, I say little, it's a modular at the top. It's mainly Dreadbox stuff and some Behringer, and then there's DeepMind 12, there's a Nord Lead A1, Pro 3, Peak, and the Wave 2, and then I chose them not because of anything in particular. It's just that's where the room was to put them.
It just looks so neat. I love that space you're in, actually. I mean, I don't know, I've never seen the inside of it, but it just looks really, warm and comforting. The whole place just looks inspiring.
You can see all the babies that I work on and will be working on. This is the little jam station, so I'll just mute my mic and hopefully
go for
it'll work.
Wow, let me cut this off. I shall mute mine and you should be on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Morden.
Hello. Did that work?
Wow. That was off the scale good.
Hello. Thank you very much.
That was so good. No, absolutely. That was just genius. Wow. I mean, there's live jams and there's live jams. The crowd, the chat was going absolutely wild with everything absolutely positive. I stopped putting it up on screen because I wanted to see what your hands were doing in the end, to be honest. It's just brilliant. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, thanks very much. It's that NPC. It's trying to get my head round that. That's all it was. And it kind of clicked a little bit the other day.
What NPC is it?
It's an NPC 1.
Okay.
And it's so it was just I've read the manual a number of times and done what is it? There's the NPC Bible that I bought, and you know you do a little bit, but then you leave it because I'm doing a bank of patches and I forget what I've learned. So then it's like I've got to start again.
Yeah.
And I've tried it a number of times, but I've kind of got through a little bit with it now.
That was so good, and not planned at all. So I mean, I don't know if you were intending on that or whatever, but I wasn't. You know, I left the live stuff till last, and just to be able to go, okay, I'll just run that. It sounds so good. Can you run us through what the kit that's there and how it's
sure
how it's connected? If that's all right.
Yeah, no, switch over.
Because it's modular and yeah, just looks brilliant and very very clean and clear and really good sounding. Let me zoom in on you. Yeah. Any questions in the chat as well? Obviously, fire away, please. If you can at me, just it makes it easier to see them. But if anyone has any questions, please go ahead. We're just full of love and praise for you at the moment, chat-wise. So
yeah, I mean, you won't really hear me because I'm on the other side of the.
That's
room,
okay.
But,
we can just about do it.
But yeah, it's the Wave 2, which is the kind of main sort of chord sound that I did. When will it work? Have I turned something off? I might turn something off.
Don't worry. That's it.
Yeah, that's the peak there. So that's doing the kind of bell sound. And then you've got the drums. Yeah, I think I'm on the wrong sequence. Maybe that's what it is. Yes, it is, because they're muted. This is the thing that I've been trying to get my head around, because you can have different sequences for
do you know what? Yeah, I have Inky's NPC live here because she has two of them, the lucky thing, and we've done 2 or 3 Twitch streams where she's been teaching me how it works, and that's the thing I always had a problem with. Yeah, what's a sequence and what's a part and stuff. That's better.
Yeah, so it's very simple: drums, and then the Pro 3 is doing the bass. Just a patch that I made. It's just a couple of oscillators.
That sounds
touch
great.
Of delay. And then the Nord wave. Which just it was a patch I made in the bank.
Wow.
And that's what's that made up of? Yeah, that's just the onboard synthesis. No samples for that. Then the peak that I mentioned, and then another bit of kit with some 808s going on. Then the DeepMind 12, which is just a melody. Another sound that I made for one of my banks. And then the A1, which is the lead. And then oh yeah, the modular. That's.
I was going to say. Oh yeah. By the way, what on it? That's doing those glitchy bits.
Yeah. Well, it's Maleko stuff. I love Maleko. They're sequences, and you can do all those kind of ratchety type of things with it. It's hard to actually see it there, and then there's just like a single sort of line coming from this modular side of things here. In fact, if I play it, you'll hear it. And it's just a slow LFO going through. And it all goes into a Behringer XR18 mixer, and then just mix it all up on that. And that's it, really.
Wow.
I've got it kind of working now.
Is there anything on like the master bus or anything? It's almost like it's got an analog heat and stuff going on, or I mean, what's?
No. It's what you've got built into here is you've got 4 effects, and you can use one of them as an insert, and I've got a sound maximizer.
Okay. All right.
Like back in the day when you used to use these sound maximizers on
yeah.
and that's all it is. It just makes it a bit sweeter and a bit bassier.
Mainly to kind of compensate for the cassette that you recorded the master onto, right?
Yeah. Everyone used them, but yeah. So that's
sounds
really
brilliant. Sounds really, really good. Because I've always when you're live jam stuff, I mean, basically, if I've got everything in Logic or Ableton and the ability to compress every channel and to sidechain different bits at different levels, that gives a separation that obviously you can't get from live jam, and that's not a problem in the slightest, but it starts to become apparent when you've got a lot of things going on. So if you've got a bass and a kick and a hat and a clap and a vocal or something, doesn't matter in the slightest. But if you've got an arrangement like you've just done there, normally it would begin to just sound a little bit almost
bit of
flat.
A mush, yeah.
Yours sounds brilliant. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I do the usual thing, sidechain on with the kick in the bass, so it can duck and just general mixing, really. But yeah, and slap on that thing at the end of it, the sonic maximizer. Otherwise, it sounds like the sound's coming out from a piece of paper.
Grace is saying those are very, very good effects in that desk, especially for the price. Grace will know. Grace is amazing. Obviously, if you haven't seen her, she's a live sound engineer without equal. So
no, definitely. I watched a bit of the show the other day of Grace's. So
she was super cool.
Did a thing with Andy as well, Andrew Brooks.
Yes, really good jams on that as well. Yeah, it's a couple. One went out earlier today, which I didn't have a chance to watch yet. But
some great people out there doing it. It really is, and it's a shame that they might only get a few sort of a couple hundred views, and I'll do my little bit, having people on. So other people know exactly, have you heard about these guys? It's finding new music, isn't it?
I think it's building a little bit. I mean, certainly. And things like Clownfest, they had a day today with the Shrimp Guild guys. The Hardware Jams Day was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just the way that they put it all together. A practical question from Marshall Arnold, I'm so sorry, Marshall. Tripping over my words. GeoSynths, some tips on how you keep that cable management so clean. My studio looks like a mess of spaghetti.
I did it the other day. That's all it was.
So does everyone else's. It's just
it is everywhere, all behind it all. It's a mess. But no, I cleaned up the other day and got the vacuum from downstairs. So it looks a bit tidier now. But yeah, cables. I mean, still this day and age, I'm still having to use wires.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? It is weird. I mean, even when I sort of stepped out of music for a bit and got involved in computers a bit more, and the two business partners that I met and worked with, they're brothers, and they were proper full-on geeky computer people, and I was sort of fronting the audio side of it, and they were like, why are you patching everything in like that? You can just surely, I mean, it was before Cat 5 probably, but just one cable, surely can't it just multiplex all this stuff? No, it doesn't work like that.
No. And no matter what you do, you patch it all in, lay it all out. It's lovely. After 2 weeks, it's all tangled up.
Yeah, absolutely. And the trouble is, and I'm in the middle of it now, you go, I've got this new bit of kit, or what I got this spring reverb that I've been looking for ages, a Dubby spring reverb, and I'd run out of, I think you work in a similar way actually. I've got a couple of RME interfaces that use hardware effects as inserts on the Logic desk. I think you've got something similar. And I'd run out, and I've found a cheap Fireface interface secondhand that works perfectly, same as the one I've already got on eBay. Plugged it in. That has now resulted in everything coming out. This one tiny little tweak. It's like, I better pull those cables out here.
It does. Always happens when you rearrange because you bought a new bit of gear and you have to move. It's like, what's that Solitaire where those little blocks that move? It's that.
Everything falls over. Yeah,
everything,
absolutely.
Yeah. And you have to buy new cables for it, and you end up always going back to what it was in the first place.
Yeah, completely.
But yeah,
all right, last call for questions in the chat. If anything's going on, Hydrasynth. Everyone seems to have bought a Hydrasynth. Have you hit that one at all? Tried it out.
I did have one.
I'm in two minds. I have one here.
I didn't much care for it too much.
Interesting.
Maybe because. not so much really the sound. I mean, the thing is with analog synths, you're trying to tame it because they go all over the place, especially the Prophet 10. But with digital, you've got to add movement to it. And I was finding even though, nice with the keyboard and everything, the way that the menus are setting up, it was taking me... I could have done 3 sounds on another synth than...
Wow, interesting.
Not that it was difficult to use or anything like that. It's just that there's so many pages that you have to go through.
Yeah.
If they'd have come out with the editor, or a decent editor, or Sound Tower had done something, just really for the routing, then yeah, maybe a different story. But, I have to weigh up my time. I don't want to be spending, something 2 months on a synth, especially if it's only a single layer. So yeah, and some of the other ones, like I had talking about an argon and all that type of thing. I did have that, but they put out a bunch of banks of patches for nothing, so I just can't compete with that. It's like things like the Cherry Audio stuff. It sounds great, but there's no way I'd make banks for it for the simple reason it costs as much as what they sell them for.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fair enough.
And that'll be the argument that people who, come back at me.
That is fair enough. Yeah, so it's more of a usability thing on the Hydra than the sound. I mean, I have one. I expected to fall over and go, and I haven't done that, but I haven't spent enough time with it yet. So, and it's nice to have it's nice to definitely have that keyboard. It's a proper thing. Will Joseph is asking about the Falcon, which is obviously, that's a lovely software synth. Much work with that.
Which one's that?
The Falcon. It's a UVI.
Oh no, I've not touched that. The only software synths that I've put sounds out for are UHaze. There was Diva that I did with Marshall Arnold, and I also did I've made a bank of patches for the Prophet 10, Prophet 5, and the thing is with me, I want the sounds to be people to reproduce them. And the problem with the Prophet 510 is there's no effects on board. It's a single mono output. And so you don't get in the panning. And you need sort of stereo on a synth, really, to open it up. So with a bit of pitch changing, you can get kind of some natural chorus going on, which frees up to use other effects.
Right.
But there was lots of discussion with it, the people talking about, I use this chorus and that chorus. And I thought, you know what? Let's use a plugin. I used I went everywhere looking for a single plugin that did chorus, reverb, and delay, and there's nothing out there that's affordable anyway. So I ended up finding 2, and I made that bank of patches, but then I did repro right after it, and God, that thing is accurate. Compared to the Prophet 510, it is accurate. I mean, I wouldn't say the old Rev 1, 2s, and 3s, but the Rev 4. I mean, I was making the sounds. The first patch I made on that's in the bank is called Prophet 111, which is the first patch that you have on the Prophet 5 and 10, and it's just that. It's the same.
Really?
The same, yeah. It's amazing. UHA are really amazing. But I've done loads of others. I just haven't released them because software gets cracked. Well, no, software gets cracked, so people, they don't sort of... So I've stuck with hardware. That's one thing that I've found. The cheaper the synth, the more hassle I get. So, DeepMind 12, I mean, that's been amazing for me. I've done 4 banks. Well, actually, I've done 6 banks, but 4 volumes. And that's been a cracking synth to make sounds on. But yeah, I do get some headaches with that. Yeah. Support-wise.
Well, I mean, it is interesting that you say that. Do many people get in touch about the Moog one?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's things like film composers and people who work in TV, and they're the ones that are buying them, as well as like performing in studio based.
Yes.
It's all sound palettes for them if they can. And my philosophy with sound design is, you've got to preset a starting point, but I program all the controllers, and if it has a foot pedal, and with the Moog One, you've got an XY pad and a mod wheel. I program it so you can dramatically change the sound, right? But always come back to starting point if you need to, so you don't have to twiddle any knobs. if you don't want to.
Just
Because once you've done that, you've lost it. You've lost the sound, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Question in from Steve Power. What does Jamie think of his recently acquired Roland Phantom compared to the Kronos or the Montage?
Yeah, it sounds very good. There's a lot of low end, and it's a sweet sounding synth. I think Roland have been doing some great stuff. I mean, yeah, it would have been great if they'd done a newer System 8, a System 16 with the whole ACB, because that sounds very good. The plugins for like the JX3P, they've nailed it. But Phantom, yeah, it sounds good. And of course now they've got that new line. I mean, everyone now at the moment, there's not any real synths coming out now, aren't there, because of this whole chip
shortage stuff.
So
junior versions of the biggest synths, and
or a different colour. Yeah. That's what I don't think it's going to be until the end of the sort of year. But one of the decent ones that come out sound wise was the Take 5, which I did.
I saw that on your. Yes,
I did a review, and that was a very nice sounding, just not particularly. I think they've probably sorted it out now, but I went through 3 of them. So hopefully. But I don't.
I think I remember that. It's like
I went through 3. It's all the same thing. The USB's just died on it. So, it's that was a good synth. But other than that, there's not really a lot more. And things that I've got planned out, I'll do a bank 2 months. Or a month if it's like a single layer, and then after that I go in this deep depression lull. It's like thinking, what I'm going to do? It's like creative. I'm sure
that's coming back off tour, isn't it? It's just you finished your tour and that's it. That's
it. I'm sure we're all creative people, and it's like a battery. It drains down, and you need to build it back up again. So, I mean, Novation come out with an update finally for the Summit and the Peak. Summit especially because it had this. It was broken. The panning was broken when you're doing dual layers. So that's something I'll work on. Also, it's been over a year since I've done a bank for the what you bloody call it, the Polybrute. So, there's that to add.
Simon66 is saying if he lends you his Solaris, do you fancy writing a bank for that?
Solaris, yeah. I mean, it's a very well-known sort of synth. I've never seen anything. In fact, somebody said they'd send me their Schmidt. Yeah, but I'd need
small
2
market,
people.
But, exactly.
That was the thing. It'd send it me as long as he could keep the patches. I'm scared to death. There's no way I'm going to put that in the car. 20 grand synth. No way.
And plus then some, I think. I think more than that now. Grace is saying, do you think you have to idiot-proof patch design at least a little bit, especially for the sound for picture users?
My ethos is I don't sit here and think of I'm going to do a patch for this and it's for me. I make them all for me. So, if it's got things moving around, if it's complex, I don't simplify anything. It's if I've got to be happy with it, and then I sell it.
Right.
I don't make them for. Or water things down or whatever like that, or think, okay, that'll do. It's not my thing, never has been, with anything, really. But
it's the best way to do it, then, if you happen to hit something that people like, you're doing it, naturally, aren't you?
I mean, I think the main thing with what I do is there's lots of, some really good sound designers out there anyway, but I don't really do, all my sounds are pretty much playable. It's not like... lots of something I've noticed with this Kurzweil, there's lots of sounds on there, but you just never ever use them in anything. You couldn't use them. But that's the difference. I don't work for a company because I've done things like I was hired by Novation for the Peak, and you get a brief, and even the Moog One when I did Classic Bank of 50 patches, they give me a brief. In fact, it was a spreadsheet. I said, just tell me what songs you want from artists, Depeche Mode, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can make 3 different sounds on it, and just tell me what sound you want. I mean, it took ages just listening to the originals and making them. But yeah, you follow a brief. Me, when it comes to third-party patches, don't have to worry about
just
that.
Go down.
Just do what I want.
So how interesting. That is really interesting, because the concept applies to songwriting or making albums as well. You can have your your hands in the air track, your ballad, your blah blah. Here's very broad, not like copying this. Or you can just go out there and write and see what happens. And I think if you're doing it naturally, and it happened to hit that sweet spot, then absolutely, that's amazing. Well, that's incredible. Inky's just reminded me we never even mentioned the Sonicware sample track, which is probably worth just saying very, very briefly, because the lovely Thorsten, put me in touch with Uendo and Evan Serchuk, who are a couple of the guys that are making it. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a look. It's like a portable sampler, which I will just call up now. And they are so well. I'm not oversubscribed, but they are. Their stuff
is great, isn't it? I mean, it's so affordable.
Exactly. They have a good track record. I should have had this open in a window ready to go. But if by any chance you have missed it, because it's been all over the YouTubes, here it is. It's on Kickstarter right now. Put this up. It's amazing, right? So they've done another 4,000 since we went live. It's got 1,098 backers. You can still get in on the super cheap end of it, which is it $299? This is all in yen at the moment. I must be.
I think Lisa's saying $230 early deal, £230.
£230 early deal, yeah. So that's $299, I think. Jump in, and then it goes up and it goes up, and I think the final price is about $449 or something dollars. But it looks, if you want some info on it, Gaz was looking at it on Pro Synths. I'm sure Sonic State will be talking about it on Wednesday. They just seem to have hit a spot with it. Which has just touched everybody, which is kind of like easy to use portable sampler with batteries, little display, really funky little thing, and it's got things like XLR ins and stuff as well. I think so. It's pretty neat.
They've really thought it out, and it goes well with the other line that they do. And I suppose it's going up against the SP404 Mark II, isn't it? But this seems to do a bit more, and it's.
I mean, I love. As well. I've got the old school 404, but I'm not using it as a portable handy sampler. I'm using it to mangle stuff up and make it sound wonky, which would be nice if this did it. But you definitely wouldn't take it out to do sampling. You'd take it out to make things sound like you've squashed it in a 404. So, phone interface to go live anywhere stuff, all sorts of crazy stuff. So, take a look. Lots of people are on it. They do have a track record, so it's not just someone with an idea who may not follow through. So I think we're pretty likely to actually to get that one out, which is cool. So at least we touched on a tiny bit of music news. It's been absolutely fabulous talking to you again. Actually, it feels much more comfortable, this show now. We've had a few more episodes to go, and I found out a hell of a lot more about your background and the dedication and the attention to detail. I mean, I knew the patches were good; they obviously sound great. But the whole ethos and the way that you're putting the whole thing together, and hopefully there's been a few people in the chat that weren't aware that are aware now, and just amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest. It's brilliant.
Yeah, no worries. No, it's great to come on and not have to go searching around for stuff myself. So I did have to do the show, which takes up a bit of time, doesn't it? So Part of the reason for just sort of not doing too much music news is because you guys do it so well, and it's hard. As we were alluding to earlier, we didn't go into details, but it is quite hard work, and you can burn out. And I think coming at it from what you were saying is coming at it because it's a more an enjoyable thing. Is definitely, if you can do it, if you've got the luxury of doing that, then great. I completely understand if your job is I'm a YouTube creator and I need to hit 100,000 subs or whatever. That's. I mean, I think as well with streaming. I mean, it's free to everyone. You can't then expect to then monetize it at a later date. And that was the idea for me. But it wasn't to make money. It was for it to pay for itself because it can be expensive buying gear. And God, I went through lots of different streaming software. Paid a lot of money for it all, and it was rubbish. And so, but I'm not bothered about that. Now I sort of just. It's great to have these people on. I've got Team US, I've got a Facebook group, and three members as well who join, and then the Jam Show releaser, and then I'll allow one Sunday to have a guest on if I can get someone. If not, in fact, probably the next time I'll probably just do a sound design thing because they always go quite well. So,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Going back to me roots.
So geosynths.com, GeoSynths, search them on Facebook. Anything else in terms of, obviously, is that the best places to find you? Obviously, the GeoSynths YouTube.
Yeah, geosynths.com, and of course you've got there is the Facebook group, which is called Synth Show, and it's just talk about topics, and I'll ask questions quite a lot. People can post their jams in there. They can post their releases in, because I try and put them into sections. And yeah, they can join that. So Facebook Synth Show.
And of course, if you do get into it, you have a Patreon, which gives you discounts on the packs. So if you're thinking about buying a pack, check out Jamie's GeoSynths. I think it's Patreon/GeoSynths actually. Check that out as well, because in the long term, you'll probably save some money. And
will do.
Out.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, thank you very much indeed. Look forward to the next one. You are the first double guest that we've ever had, and it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. And loads and loads of love in the chat. Thank you everyone else for being there as well. Not sure quite what's happening next Sunday, but same time, same place. Something groovy will be happening. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone who's donated as well to Great Ormond Street. Just absolutely stunning. Particularly Kent Spong for just being just such a wonderful guy, but everyone who's donated is absolutely loved. And we will see you all again next week, all right? So take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Take it easy.
Connect so with the earth pipe, link up the harmonize, bless the termite, but beyond obsolete blessings, a birthright. To live a life which a la luminous heart worldwide. Cosmic love energy, I go herbicide free, organically, miss their worthwhile. Watch the way one of you take term points in terms of definitions and long termites. Yes, I check the eye. One side is defined by one side the other. I.e. I am an ideas man. I assign too much of the qualities of my child. Who's free if I'm talking like there's two of me? One is a construct, one is a creativity. The supreme one, all encompassing information in and of itself, most definitely. Another life infinitely, most life infinitely. Beyond the scripture, niceness can be. Blessed be. I continually, Mr. Pick up a being as the infinity.